Good evening, guys, and welcome to the September 17th Board of Education meeting. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you guys so much. Tonight we are joined by 7 of our trustees, our superintendent of schools, Dr. Timothy Harney, our assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction, Mr. Robert Haas, our interim assistant superintendent for finance and operations, Mr. Luis Frontero, our district legal counsel, Mr. Edward McCarthy, our district clerk, Ms. Suzanne Bonetti, and our student rep, Ms. Haley Hendershot. As always, there are 2 opportunities for the community to participate during the Board of Ed meeting. The first is just before it takes up its agenda, and the second follows the disposition of all agenda items. As always, if you'd like to speak, we ask that you come to the mic. You must be authorized by a majority vote. If you are not from Bayport Blue Point, if you are from town, obviously we ask you to keep those to approximately 3 minutes. And for the convenience of the community, all Bayport Blue Point Board of Education meetings are live streamed in the back and posted on the website after. And if you'd like to follow us on Instagram, you can always follow the district at BBP School District. But at this time, we'd open it up to any community members for any new or old business. Not hearing any, we'll turn it over to Dr. Harney for a superintendent report. Dr. Harney, how are you tonight, sir?
Very good, Mr. Miller. Thank you. I'm going to leave a lot of the student stuff to Ms. Hendershot at the end. I know she has, will share everything with you, but I really just have one thing I want to share. Obviously, we got off to a very good start to the year. Probably the one thing that many people aren't aware of is I want to just talk a little bit about transportation. So a couple of things. First, I'd like to thank Ms. Smith for all of her efforts in trying to have the transportation run as smooth as possible, and I do know that there have been some hiccups. I'd also like to thank our building principals. A lot of them have taken the time even to ride on some of the routes just to kind of for efficiency, so that's something they've been doing as well, along with other staff members. So I just first of all like to thank all of them for doing that. But probably one of the things that people do not realize, which is something that I think is a good thing that I'd like to share, is over the years where we have added transportation. If you remember, I don't know, it was probably 3 or 4 years ago when we had done that safety study. One of the things when we looked at transportation, we looked at certain areas in terms that we wanted to try to make sure our students had a bus. Last year, one of the charges that we're giving to myself and to the transportation office was to take a look at the ridership, look at to see how many students were actually using the bus on a regular basis. And that was something that we did over probably 4 or 5 months. And in doing that, we had looked at this year to try to open up some transportation. So you may have spoken to some of your neighbors, or even we've received phone calls, hey, why am I getting a bus this year where I didn't have one last year, or whatever it may be. It's really because we've tried to expand some of that ridership. When the district was noted years ago as a safety zone, anytime we can add to this, we were trying to do that. So that's one of the things we were doing. So this year, you might have seen some of the routes, the bus stops had changed, and a lot of it is because we opened it up to more students from a district level, and we're going to continue to watch that ridership as well. So you also have more stops. So those are still some of the kinks that we're trying to work out, but it was all in the idea of trying to afford buses to more of our community, because that was something that came up last year as a discussion. There's no additional funding. We had the buses, so it was something that we really wanted to look at, which we will continue to look at. So each day has seemed to get better. So for that, again, I'd like to thank Mrs. Smith and our principals. But I just thought people might like to know that we've been able to expand it by at least offering it to a number of many more students. So we'll continue to watch it. But thank you for your patience. I really do appreciate your support. With that, I'll turn it back to Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Dr. Harney. We'll turn it over to our student delegate, Haley.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. The school year has just begun, and at Academy Street, students are settling in and getting right back into things. We honored Patriots Day with a moment of silence, read-alouds, activities, and thank you letters to BBP firefighters. We are kicking off Start With Hello next week in support of the Sandy Hook promise never to leave anyone out and to lead with kindness. Lastly, school photos are coming up on September 24th and September 25th. Over at Sylvan, the new school year is off to a great start. Students will be participating in Start with Hello Week as well, where students in grades pre-K will take part in various activities, including meeting with buddy classes to encourage and establish connections with one another. We are looking forward to this opportunity for students to say hello to new faces and begin to get to know students throughout our building. Blue Point Elementary would like to thank the Blue Point Fire Department for the beautiful ceremony to commemorate 9/11 and for taking the time to take pictures with the classes. Thank you for all you do. Similarly, BPE is also getting ready for Start with Hello Week, bringing awareness to and recognizing social isolation in and out of schools. We're looking forward to having fifth graders, first responders, district administrators, and board members welcome the students into school every morning next week. At the middle school, we are excited as we gear up for our student council elections. This is an invaluable experience for our students as they engage in the democratic process firsthand. Our student leaders will be hard at work this week, preparing posters, crafting speeches, and soon their peers will have the opportunity to elect their class officers. It's a powerful lesson in leadership and civic responsibility, and we wish all of our candidates the best of luck. It's also been exciting to witness the dedication and spirit of our student athletes as they practice and prepare for their upcoming games and matches. Their teamwork, perseverance, and positive attitudes are truly inspiring, and we have no doubt they will represent the middle school and district with pride as they compete this season. Finally, the high school had a successful parent open house last Thursday. This event allowed parents to take a trip into their students' classrooms, meet the teachers, and understand the curriculums their students will be pursuing. In addition, the high school has been participating in Spirit Week to generate excitement and enthusiasm for the upcoming homecoming football game. Float building has been taking place after school along with the official nominations for the homecoming court. The parade begins promptly at 11:30 on Saturday, and the football kickoff is at 1. Go Phantoms!
Thank you so much, Haley, but at this time, we will turn it over to Mr. Haas as we can recognize and celebrate the successes of our students in the artwork and community service, and also celebrate some of our Teachers of the Year and Employee of the Year. So, Mr. Haas.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. I'd like to quote Ms. Conley is going to help me out, as she's not only a board member, but also a representative from CV, so I think with the artwork, she played a very important role there. So every year we do our district calendar, and the art department submits student artwork that then is chosen to be displayed within that calendar. So if you went online, you would see the artwork that is included for this year. So tonight I'd like to call up all of the students that have had their artwork displayed for a certificate, and then I'd ask that you stay up here and line up for a group photo. So we have Sarah Berube, Aiden Bianchini, Fiona Brinkman, Cameron Kudak, Talon Eisenberg, Zach Larson, Annabella Repchick, Jack Raymond, Sierra Resines, Juliet Stevens, Teddy Vitafor, and Brielle Yates. So congratulations to our students, and thank you for sharing your artwork with the entire district to be included in the calendar. It is now my pleasure to, first of all, I want to call Mr. Walcott, our high school principal, who's going to help me with the next recognitions and certificates. The next certificates are for students who have participated in the high school community service recognition program. And this is a program that we started several years back here in the high school to really recognize those students. They don't do it for these accolades. They do it to give back to our community, but it's really to recognize the efforts that they put in. And today, yesterday being, you had the community organization, Bayport Blue Point Foundation, who had their annual fundraiser. There are so many people who give back in this community that do it very quietly behind the scenes. And these students that are going to be called up today fit right into that. Again, they're not doing it for the recognition, but they are giving back to our community day in and day out. The students that are being recognized here total had over 2,000 hours of community service performed over the last school year. And they fall within different categories from 10 to 19 hours, which is a recognition certificate, to 20 to 29, a bronze certificate, 30 to 39, a silver certificate, and then 40 plus hours. So I will call them up in the order of those certificates. So we will start with the community service recognition certificate. Students, after you come, I'm going to ask that you guys actually take your certificate and go up on the stage. Everyone stay up there so we can do a huge group shot of all of you. So we have Ella Amato, Logan Athern, Courtney Bergeon, Caitlin Coffey, Sarah Espinoza, Alexa Evers, Bailey Gelling, Alexa Gorman, Abrielle Montepetit, and Juliana Stump. So the next group of students are the Bronze Award, which is 20 to 29 hours of community service. We have Ryan Athern, Matthew Batchmore, Lily Casca, Katie Edwards, Linda Edwards, Brady Gelling, Gabrielle Harrison, Michael Messina, Yuvraj Tor, and Lillian Turk. The next group is going to be for the Silver Award, which is 30 to 39 hours of community service. We have Brian Batchmore, Ethan Borgart, Alexandria Dobson, John Harrison, Juliana Kirby, Katie Novak, George Rogers, and Declan Shug. And for the final group, the Gold Award goes to students who performed 40 or more hours of community service over the course of last school year. Alyssa Airley, Dylan Bukel, Matthew Bowman, Nina Brownie, Caroline Caggiano, Finn Capozzi, Olivia Davis, CJ Kane. Jenny Lynn. Ava O'Rourke. Ella Silvestro. Ava Spear. And Amanda Woods. So congratulations to our students, but most of all, thank you for everything you've given back that helped make Bayport Blue Point the community that we are.
Congratulations, guys, and thank you for giving back to the community so much with your time. We just have 2 more awards. We're turning over to Dr. Horney for the Teacher of the Year for 2023-2024.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. So I had the honor, there are 2 awards that I'm going to be sharing with the community tonight. One was unable to be with us here tonight, so I'll talk about it quickly. The other person is with us here tonight. So at Superintendent's Conference Day, which was in late August this year, we were able to celebrate a number of staff for various milestones. And 2 of them that we do that day is one is the Teacher of the Year, and it's actually voted on by the person's peers. And then another one is a staff member of the year that we do. Again, it really comes through nominations. So I'm going to first do the Teacher of the Year. And before I get started, I really would like to congratulate Miss Christine Monahan, who was this year's Teacher of the Year. If we can give her a round of applause. She's absolutely giving me this look right now. It's like, what is he going to say? And he better be good. So, but I'm going to ask Miss Monahan to come on up here. Come on up, Miss Monahan, because she loves to be the center of attention. Come on down. So, I'm actually going to read this because this came from colleagues of ours, as opposed to me going off the cuff, which I think is what Miss Monahan is probably most worried about. So I'm going to do that. So Ms. Monahan is a hardworking, passionate, dedicated, and exceptional educator in the Bayport Blue Point schools. She's a speech therapist who voluntarily moved to Blue Point Elementary in the 2022-23 school year to continue her career and to bring her enthusiasm, creativity, and professionalism to a new group of students, teachers, and staff. She did not hesitate to be part of and be a spark in the culture at Blue Point Elementary. She ambitiously and instantly jumped into being a positive influence in her new building, just as she had done so many years at Sylvan Avenue. She brings a positive vibe and immeasurable care at the Blue Point Elementary School. Her Veterans Day activities are meticulously planned to allow the Blue Point Elementary students and staff understand the holiday and to express gratitude and honor for the brave men and women of our country. Her influence resonates in patriotism Her influence resonates in the BB community. Her special programs and events encourage kindness, generosity, pride, and patriotism, which all go beyond the classroom. Everyone looks forward to every program that she participates in or brings to the school. Her contagious spirit and tenacious encouragement make people want to be involved, to simply be part of the hype and the significant presence she has, and ultimately to take part in the positive lifelong impact it has on students. So she is, I mean, this teacher is a leader and a shining example of what it means to give your all to what you believe in. She is admired and respected tremendously for that. She advocates for her students, volunteers, and committees, and works hard to make sure the children she instructs have meaningful lessons and develop to their highest potential. What she has done and will continue to do has not just been for her and for the small number of students she provides speech services for, but she always thinks of the whole building, including the entire community. All the teachers, aides, assistants, custodians, secretaries, administration, building and district-wide, basically everyone. She's made everyone smile and feel appreciated with her pop-up cider and coffee cart, caramel apple bar, and National Popcorn Day celebration. She's also the first person to check in with you to make sure you're doing okay. And that is something I can speak to. She is one who, on a regular occasion, will reach out to myself and just check to see how things are going. So for that, I thank you. She cares immensely and puts everyone else first, which makes her the true definition of a go-to person. Her character as a human being is the highest quality. You cannot ask for a better colleague or friend. Her enthusiasm, honesty, passion, patriotism, love of family, home and work family, dedication to making life better, and her incredible ability to make big and small moments meaningful is worthy of recognition. And ultimately, she should 1,000% be named the Bayport Blue Point Teacher of the Year for the 2023-24 school year. Congratulations, Ms. Monahan. So our staff member of the year, who unfortunately could not be here today, before I go into this real quick, and I'm just going to read a small piece of it, because I do want to acknowledge her, is Rosetta Arpino. Rosetta Arpino is one of the first people that you see when you enter the main office of the high school. She's worked with a number of principals over the last couple of years. And one of the things, when I was able to present this award to her in front of her staff, one of the things that I had said is she's probably somebody that has helped every single person in that building and is always there for the students, is always looking to do what is best for them. But she is truly another one of those people that is a go-to person. To sum it up, one person had said, she's the face you see when you walk into the main office of high school, and she creates the most welcoming and helpful environment. We couldn't ask for a better ambassador. Rosetta is someone that I can call if I need a favor or if I have a question about the high school schedule. She will respond outside of school hours, demonstrating her full dedication to helping the staff at the high school. She is responsible for the playlists on Wednesdays, creates a positive environment in the building. Rosetta is a key piece to the Bayport Blue Point High School staff. I think really what I'd like to finish with is she really is somebody who's looking out for the entire building, as I said, whether it be the staff or the students. So I will again give this to her, but we were able to do this in front of her staff. But congratulations to Rosetta and for all that she does for BBP. I think we have one or two more awards, and I'm going to hand this over to Mr. Hostris real quick. We had one or two students who were finishing up a tennis match. So with that.
All right, we do have one student who just came in, and we did want to recognize her, and it really just goes to show our students are involved in so much. So she's coming straight off the tennis court, so I did want to call up Nina Brownie, who received a gold award for 40 or more hours of community service.
On behalf of the board, we want to congratulate you and thank you so much. We truly do appreciate it. We do have a really exciting academic presentation coming up, but if you'd like to go home, we definitely understand. So have a great night. We appreciate it. Congrats, and thank you for all your community service and hard work here at the Bayport Blue Point School District. Mr. Haas is not offended. We'll pass over to Mr. Haas. Before we do, I just want to say thank you, Dr. Horney, the administrative team, for putting this together. We do appreciate all the time and effort that goes into putting this together. Mr. Haas?
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Before I get started, as Mr. Miller just stated, there is a lot of work that goes into this, not only putting together the presentation, but also the foundation that gets laid throughout the entire school year and the leadership. So I do want to acknowledge our administrative team, our building principals, assistant principals that are here with us tonight, just for all of their help and guidance that they provide within their buildings each and every day that help us achieve many of the goals that we set every year. So each year, we are tasked with presenting some of the academic state of the district. It is impossible within one presentation to include everything that we accomplish and everything that goes into the academics of the Bayport Blue Point School District. So this is really just a snapshot. And one of the things you're going to see this year is throughout the year, we are going to look to include some information and presentations from our buildings so that people can have insight into what is going on in some of the buildings that lend itself to what you're going to see here today. So with regards to the purpose of the presentation, it's to review the academic data from the 23-24 school year. Within that data, though, we do include information regarding attendance. We will look at elementary math and reading, assessment, participation, and results. At the high school, middle school, and high school level, we'll look at Regents exams, AP exams at the high school level, and then we'll take a quick look at challenge and opportunities provided to students, and then ultimately leading to what some of the statistics were for the class of 2024 last year. And throughout the presentation, I'll talk about some of the initiatives and professional learning that's taking place within the district. So one thing that is new this year is we used to look at our goals. We shifted to the strategic plan that everyone is aware of from last year. So these are the three areas of focus, or our priority areas: community connection, academic excellence, and the student experience, that all of our work is centered around. So whatever we discuss, we try and tie it back to this information from the strategic plan. So in really looking at it last year, I think I talked about all roads leading to high school graduation. The theme this year is really the foundation that all of the buildings put together, leading to a foundation of success for our graduates, last year being the class of 2024. So as we lay this groundwork, some of the data that we'll look at in the next section, again, involves attendance, elementary math reading, assessment, participation, some of the middle school accelerated math and science, and then Regents and AP exam information from the high school. So in looking at our attendance data, New York State classifies any student of 10 that is absent 10% or more as being chronically absent. And this is something that over the past few years has been difficult to measure because of the 1920 and 2021 school years and some of the things that we were dealing with then with regards to COVID. But taking a look at the past 6 years, I really bring us to the 21-22 school year. And what we saw is roughly a quarter of the high school would be considered chronically absent at that time. The middle school was around 20%, the elementary schools being at about 21%. So as a district, we started to take a look at it. We took a look at our comprehensive attendance policy and started to develop new procedures to address this. And at the secondary level, last year was the first year that we implemented a new procedure, a new policy that really focuses more on interventions and supports for students and families rather than being punitive when it comes to attendance. And we have seen over the past 2 years a decline in the chronic absentee rate at the high school and middle school levels. But you'll still see at the elementary level, we're roughly right around 13.5% over the past 2 years. So one of the focuses that we will be looking at this year is to now start to develop an attendance policy at the elementary level. Again, focused on intervention and supports for families in working with their child in terms of making sure that they are getting to school, not only every day, but also on time. Okay, so again, just to recap it, one of the things that we did started last year, and it will be continuing and we'll evaluate it this year at the secondary level, is the attendance awareness letters. And that really is, oftentimes parents don't realize when a student is absent maybe once, twice a month, they start to creep on and sometimes become chronically absent from school. Those do add up. So this is just to help bring awareness to it. It is not punitive in terms of these awareness letters. It's just something to continue and open the lines of communication with the families. And like I said, this year we're going to be evaluating the plan and looking to develop an elementary plan. So now starting to look at some of the academic data, we took a look at elementary math, and this is something that we've been doing through our local assessments. And the numbers here continue to remain strong in terms of our passing rates for students from over the years. And then we saw an uptick, a little bit of an uptick in terms of mastery levels in many of the grade levels. But this is going to be a focus of ours as an administrative team and then ultimately to our teachers this year in terms of focusing on math a little bit from professional development, from focus walks that we're going to be going in and starting to work with teachers with regards to curriculum over the course of the next year. And you look at reading, if you remember back to last year, we saw some what I would consider some very strong jumps in terms of the percentage of students that are reading on or above grade level. And we see that last year, we kept those numbers stayed strong. So a lot of work has gone in through a lot of the hard work of our two literacy coaches at the elementary level, Ms. Corso and Ms. Bree. And really a lot of work, again, led by the building principals, but the teachers within the elementary schools have put in a tremendous amount of time in taking a look at reading strategies, taking a look at different ways that they can try and reach students, working on tier one interventions for students to help them. And a lot of that work is going to be continuing this year, again, with the math and reading initiatives. We are continuing, we're actually continuing with a pilot that we started last year with something known as a magnetic reader through iReady. We actually, based on the feedback from the teachers, expanded it this year, and that will be all a part of, and something we'll talk about in the future here, is a review of our overall reading and writing programs at the elementary level. But again, we are going to start to take a little bit closer look at math, not only with the principals, but also with the help of our department chairperson for math, and then continuing with some of the work within professional learning, from professional development within reading programs like iReady, and then also professional development for some of our support staff that may be pushing into classrooms as well. So one of the things that we do keep a close eye on, and we took a look at last year, is the participation rate that you see within our state assessments. And we did see a strong jump last year from 22 to 23 to 23, 24 with regards to the overall participation in both ELA and math assessments. You're seeing a 10% jump at the ELA and then 14% jump in math. So more students in grades 3 through 8 are taking the math assessments. And really, when we start to take a look at it in terms of the data and how they're doing on the assessments, it's hard to judge it from year to year because our participation rates were not as strong previous years. We did see the jump. If we see the same numbers, we're able to start to compare those years one to the other and really start to take a look at how it compares to our curriculum moving forward. All right. Next, we start to move on to the middle school and just taking a look at some of the data that comes from the accelerated programs there. So before I get into that, just to look at how this data is displayed to you, it is based on the levels, and this is the levels that New York State has started collecting. So in the areas where you see Regents exams broken down by the 5 levels, Okay, those are the grade bands that you would see at each level. And in the areas where there's still just 4 of them, those are the grade bands. So basically, level 3 or above is passing. Okay, and when there's 4, 85 to 100, that level 4, that's where we would consider mastery, and level 5 is considered mastery on the other end. So one of the things that we saw at the middle school level in terms of our enrollment of earth science, and then the statistics that we see with earth science, it remains strong. Our students, traditionally we have fairly strong numbers of students in 8th grade that go on to take earth science. We see those students do very well on the Regents exam in June. So a credit to the hard work that not only the students put in, but also the teachers of those classes, getting those students prepared for their first Regents exam, which isn't always the easiest thing, just even from the mentality of getting them prepared for that exam. So when you look at, on the math side of it, we take a look at our pre-algebra and algebra enrollment. So the math acceleration starts in 7th grade. And then with pre-algebra, and then the students would sit for their first Regents class with algebra in 8th grade. And you see our numbers within enrollment continue to be strong. Within those hovering over the past 2 years around the 50% mark. Okay? And when you look at the results of that, they are very strong at the middle school level in terms of the students not only passing it, but also what you see from mastery level within the algebra regions. And both of these allow the students, both within science and math, it allows them to move on to an accelerated program within the high school, which then you really start to see the impact of that in 11th and 12th grade, where the opportunities do start to expand for students in whether it's AP or other elective courses. So now as we move our way south in Bayport to the high school, we start to look at the Regents exams. There. And what we've seen in terms of just kind of taking a look, I'm not going to go through each individual exam and kind of point out the statistics. One of the common theme that you will see from last year to this year is overall we did start to see some slight gains within our Regents exams, both on the passing rate and also on the mastery levels. Okay. So you see here with ELA, which starts in January, this is really, for the most part, this is our AP English class that is taking the ELA Regents in January. The rest of the students in 11th grade would take it in June. So you would see that as you move into the statistics into the next group. And as you see, the numbers there stayed steady. In moving into math, we start with Algebra 1, which is whether the students, this is the students who did not take it in 8th grade that are now taking it in 9th grade. We're seeing that we did see an increase in both levels 4 and 5. The passing rate remained right about the same, increased a little bit. In geometry, we did see a strong gain in terms of just the overall passing, and then also in the 5, geometry over the years has become, it used to be Algebra 2. Geometry has become the math exam that is, people say, becomes some of the more difficult one, almost the gatekeeper to the Advanced Regents Diploma. And we started to see some strong gains within geometry as well. Algebra 2 last year, very strong results in terms of overall passing, but also gains within the mastery level for our students as well. Earth science, again, another area where we saw gains in some of the areas, especially within the 3s or 4s. This is one where it's only broken down into the 4 levels. And then living environment, where students traditionally would take in 10th grade. We see steady results. Not much of a change, but our living environment results traditionally over the year have been fairly strong. Okay, and then chemistry, our results remaining somewhat steady. Physics, which is taken between 11th and 12th grade, seeing some gains there as well. As we move out of the sciences into social studies, we look at global history. You're seeing gains in the 3s and 4s. And U.S. history, which was the second year of the exam that they were giving within U.S. history, the framework, we saw the results were fairly steady from the prior year. So some of the things that we're doing as a district and continuing some of the work is the teachers are taking a look at the data from the Regents exams. Obviously, these are given right at the end of the school year, so when is the time for them to sit down and really take a look at how not only how their students did, but how the overall grade did. How does that compare to the curriculum that we're teaching? So the teachers over the course of the next month will be engaging in data analysis teams where they will get together based on who's teaching the subject, led by their department chair, and they will go through all the reports that are provided for us, item analysis reports, to really start to compare how our students are doing compared to the curriculum and see if there are any gaps there within their instruction. And oftentimes they come back with and say, okay, we noticed that our students did really well in this area, so we got to continue to keep pushing that. Or they may have struggled in a certain area, or maybe we didn't teach that as in-depth as we might have wanted to, in order to prepare the students. So they will find those areas, make recommendations not only to the department chair, but to Mr. Walcott and Ms. Westerlin for possibly further professional development to try and continue to best prepare our students and put them into the best position possible. Now, along with the Regents exams, we take a look at our AP exam data, and one of the things at the high school, for a small high school, our AP exam data is, I would say, is very strong in terms of participation. You look over the past 5 years. Last year, you saw a significant increase in terms of the amount of exams that were just written. So you had 582 exams, which was made up by 259 students within the high school. And one of the things we talk about with high school students is always looking to challenge yourself in one area, trying to take maybe one AP class at least during their high school time. Not because we want to see them all, we want to see the stats go up. We want to see a child find that area and find the area to challenge themselves within it. So, and we've seen a lot of success, even with more students in open enrollment within our AP exams. As you see on the next slide, when we talk about the scores, 80% of our students scored a 3 or better on the AP exams last year, which really is a tremendous accomplishment, not only, again, for the students, but a tremendous, really shows the dedication and hard work of the staff in preparing them, not only throughout the year, but then also as they get closer to the AP exams, putting in that extra time with the students to make sure that they're feeling comfortable going into it. And just for those who aren't aware, 3 or better is you must score at least a 3 in order to have potential of it being received as college credit, depending on the college or university that a student goes to. Something we'll celebrate in a couple of board meetings is our AP Scholars. This is based on, so you have your AP Scholar with Honor, and AP Scholar with Distinction. This is based on just the amount of exams that a student has taken and how they score on those exams. So you see our numbers continue to be very strong in this area. So along with just the academic data that we look at, we always are talking to our students about what are the opportunities that we could provide and looking to expand those opportunities for all students. So one of the things that we have pointed to with pride over the past few years, and we thank the Board of Education for their commitment to it, is an increase to the technical programs that are available to our students. So you see back in the 22-23 school year, we did see a significant jump in the amount of students that were able to go to a BOCES technical program. And those numbers remained strong last year in 23-24, and they remain right about there. I think right now we have 40 students enrolled in a CTE program and 3 students enrolled in the ICC program. So the commitment continues to be there from the district, and our students are taking advantage of it and preparing themselves as they move forward to decide what their plans are going to be following high school. Another thing that we look at is our dual enrollment programs. And this is our partnerships with Suffolk Community College. We also have partnerships within math with Malloy. We've expanded that to science. So you do see a little bit of a dip with this. This is really, we still offer 14 classes, so that could range based on the year, based on the student need and what they want. So depending on possibly an art class, you might not offer it just because the demand is not there from the students. So that's going from 15 to 14 is not much of a change. But we are looking, and Mr. Walcott, I know is going to be looking at expanding our partnerships. We have had a long partnership with Suffolk Community College in the Beacon program, but like I said, we expanded in the past few years to Malloy, but we are going to be looking at other opportunities for dual enrollment programs for students involving colleges and universities around. And what happens with these are our teachers, just to clarify, these are our teachers who get certified by those colleges to teach the course so that a student does enroll in it. They would then pay, usually at a much discounted rate. They pay tuition for the semester, and then the grade that they receive from Bayport Blue Point High School is their grade within, and they get an actual transcript that they would have to call up the college or request the transcript is sent to wherever they are going. So as I said at the beginning, you know, it's the foundation that's being built at all the 5 buildings that lead to the success of our graduates. And we continue to point to pride with how our students are doing when they graduate, where they're going on to. So first thing we always look at is post-secondary plan, so something I started including in this year's presentation, and we'll be including it for years going forward, especially with the increased participation we have in CTE programs, is the pursuing a trade. So you see our number always stays right, it's around high 80s, low 90s in terms of students that are pursuing college, and then you see around 74% of students pursuing a four-year college, but then we do have students that are also now pursuing trades. So they're going on to a trade school, they're going right into the workforce, and a lot of that is based off of the work that they're doing in some of the CTE programs. Something that we have remained very strong with over the years and continue to rank high not only within Suffolk County but also Long Island and New York State is the Advanced Regents Diploma rate for our students. And to see a rate that this high and also have the amount of students that are attending career and tech ed, because it does make it difficult to sometimes take all of the math classes that are required for such a diploma or take the world language classes that are needed. So we still see that number as high, showing that our students are, no matter what their program is, they're still continuing to challenge themselves throughout. So as we move forward and as we go through this school year, we now will be taking a look at our strategic plan and working with the different groups from administration to faculty and staff, the families and district committees, as we take a look at some of the goals and objectives that were set forth in the strategic plan and look for ways to implement them to provide students with further opportunities and also supports as they go through their academic journey within the school district. So I thank you, and if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Haas. Open it up to trustees. Any questions on the presentation? Ms. Pignataro?
First of all, thank you so much, Mr. Haas. The amount of work that goes into putting this together, I can't even imagine. And the outcomes truly are something to be really proud of for the administrative team, teams at the buildings, for the community at large. My question is about math. You had mentioned a pre-algebra that starts in 7th and then that goes to algebra in 8th. So essentially we're looking at accelerating students in math based on 6th grade math performance. So I was just wanting to learn a little more about what goes into that and what makes the decision at that 6th grade point of which students would be accelerated for 7th grade.
So it is, so in 7th grade, as you stated, they do take pre-algebra, which is a period and a half class, kind of like a science lab class, to provide them with some of the additional support because they are taking a curriculum, they're taking some of what's in the traditional 8th grade math curriculum and condensing it into 7th grade. So where that starts really does start with the classroom teachers in 6th grade and recommendations that come from them. But again, so that is the first conversation, is the teachers do look at it, they look at the strengths of their students and they look at the a lot of it comes down to the desire of the student. Is the work ethic there? Is it something that they think that the student really wants? And they make their recommendations moving forward. But one of the things, and it starts at that level that we have that goes all the way through the high school level, is there is self-selection. So if a student does feel through conversations with their parents that they want to challenge themselves at this next level, they could also opt into it. So it is a combination of it. And then at the middle school level, when it comes to scheduling, the guidance counselors, Mr. Hughes and Ms. Woods, are meeting with their students, meeting with parents to kind of go through those recommendations. And of course, the teachers have been communicating those recommendations with the families as well to let them know, why the recommendation was made, maybe why it wasn't made. And if a student does want to challenge themselves, providing them with the insight as to why they maybe weren't recommended, but what they could improve upon moving forward.
Any other trustee questions? Any community members, any questions? Mr. Haas, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Moving on to the consent agenda. Are there any items the board would like to remove from the consent agenda and place on the regular agenda? Not hearing any, can I have a motion to approve items G, H, I, J, K, and L? Ms. Conley, second. Ms. Pignataro, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Moving on to the regular agenda, we do have 4 items tonight. Can I have a motion to gratefully accept the donation from Tennis Corporation and also the Marilyn and Manson Graham Foundation? Ms. Conley, second. Mr. Johnson, discussion, just want to thank the Tennis Corporation for donating $750, and also this is an $8,000 donation by the Captain Merrill and H. Manson and Graham for a scholarship for $8,000 for one of our students. So thank you so much for that. We truly appreciate it. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Can I have a motion to gratefully accept the donation for the Aries Tennis Corp. Repairs to the ball machine? This is valued at about $600, and tennis ball valued at about $505. This is Ms. Connie, second by Mr. Krug. Any discussion? As always, thank you guys so much for your donations. Truly do appreciate it. We can clap it up now. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Two more left. Can I have a motion to review and approve the second reading and adoption of policies 5150, school admissions, residency requirements, policy 8625, privacy and security for students, teachers and principal data, 8630, computer resources and data management, and policy 8635, information security breach and notification. Ms. Conley, second. Ms. Bingtaro, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That was the second reading. Moving on to item number 4. These are, can I have a motion to review the first reading of policies 4526, computer network and internet acceptable use policy, 4526.1, internet safety, and 55.1.1, student activity funds management. Ms. Conley, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? At this time, we'll open it up again for any community members, for any new business or any old business. How are you?
So I just have something I'd like to talk to the board about. It's a little bit of an unpleasant and controversial topic, but after seeing the recent article in Newsday about East Quogue School District employing armed security staff, I feel compelled to speak here tonight, something that's been on my mind for many, many years, and I just have to come say what I need to say tonight. Mr. Miller, our Board of Ed president, is a superintendent and principal at East Quogue. He was quoted in the article saying, if ever something takes place, we'll have someone on campus who can save valuable time. I couldn't agree more. Armed guards are the best way to rapidly and effectively deal with a school shooting situation, should this ever occur. I am very aware of arguments against this idea. Some people feel that our kids might be scared seeing an adult carrying a gun in school. Concealed carrying can solve this issue. Some people are concerned about training. Most, if not all, of our current security guards, I believe, are active or retired law enforcement who are highly trained and highly experienced. On a more personal note, I want to share that my sister is a teacher at Newtown High School in Sandy Hook, Connecticut. The issue of armed security guards at our schools in Bayport comes up so often in our conversations year after year, and she's shocked and appalled, and she has been for nearly 12 years, that we don't have this in BBP. I'm not sure why we have not done this yet. Maybe we think it won't happen here. Maybe we think there's nothing we can do about this huge problem. Right now, we can't change this terrible fact that school shootings do happen, but what we can do right now is protect our kids. So far in 2024, there have been 46 school shootings in the U.S. Unfortunately, this is not something that is so rare. The time has long passed since we should have protected our children and done the one thing we can do right now, which is employ armed security guards in our schools. So I'm here to ask you, not if we will do this, but when. When will Bayport do this? Is this something, a conversation that you're having on the board?
Thank you so much. What I can say about the question is that we appreciate it, and if the board is open to it and the administrative team is open to it, we would add it to agenda in the future and have a conversation about if the board would like to consider moving in that direction, or if the board would like to consider moving that to a committee that we have in the district, and for them to do a little research on the topic.
Is that something we can expect that would happen this school year soon?
I don't want to say the exact board meeting, but I can promise you this year it will come up for a discussion, and when Dr. Harney puts out his emails, he'll make sure to put that in one of his emails so people are aware that this conversation is going to be had at the board level, and from there, we'll see where the board would like to take that in what direction.
Thank you.
But thank you so much. Appreciate it. Any other community members with any questions? Any trustees with any new business? Ms. Conant?
I just wanted to thank Ms. Velasco for inviting us to greet the students this morning at Start with Hello Week. It was a great way to start the day for me. I really appreciate it. And I say this every year, but this is one of my favorite times in the school district leading up to homecoming. I was able to hear the Blue Point Elementary musicians practicing a little bit as I walked in, and my house backs onto the middle school, so I always get to hear the marching band getting ready for the parade. So come on out Saturday. It's a great day in the community, and celebrate our schools and togetherness. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Conant. Any other trustees? Not hearing any, can I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Krug, second by Mr. Johnson. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you guys so much. We truly appreciate your time.